Okay, so today we're going to talk about creating a style sheet for the printer. Often you'll create a design that has lots of graphics and interface items like navigation, and when the user goes to hit print, they probably don't want to print that stuff out. And they probably want to print it in black and white and save on their ink costs. So there's a couple things we can do. First off, you'll take a look at my page here in Dreamweaver. You'll see that I have source code, I have a default CSS that's linked to the page, but I also have a print CSS page. Okay, and that print CSS is for the printer. There's a few things that are involved to make this happen. While we're working, we want an extra set of options up in the top of the window here. So cool little trick is right click where the word title is and turn on style rendering, and we get an extra set of options here. The buttons here represent different viewing devices, and the first one's the browser, that's the default. Second over is the printer. So you'll see if I turn on the print preview that my navigation bars disappear, my background images disappear, and the layout will focus just on the text. My content area is nice and wide, so there'll be text there. It'll print off. Also, it's all in black and white. Okay, so today we're going to take a look at how we can do that. So to start off with, I'm going to deactivate my link and get rid of my link to the print style sheet that I had created. Nothing's going to happen visually while I'm in browser preview because my default CSS is still here. Okay, so to create a style sheet for the printer, I'm just going to go first up under the File menu, New, go to Blank Page, CSS, Create, and I will save it. So I'll go Save. I have to find the folder I'm working within. And just because I already have a print.css, I'll just say print-styles.css, and this will be the page for the printer. Now this next step is really key. It's really important. I'm going to my HTML page, and I need to link to that print-styles.css file and make sure that it is ready to be recognized by the printer. So I'm going to go to the link option in the CSS panel. I'm going to browse and find my print-styles.css that I just created and choose. And before I hit OK, this part's really important, I go under Media and I select Print. Now all of the other options are available here as well, things like handheld devices and TV, so there's some other important options there. So I'll select Print and I'll click OK. If I take a look at my CSS panel, what's really important to note is not only am I linking to the style sheet, but in brackets it says Print, which is that media portion. Okay, so that's really important. If I take a look at Code View, and I go to Code View, and if I look over here, you'll see that I have CSS print styles, and what's really important is this extra attribute media equals print. So that's what turns this style sheet link into printer style sheet. Now nothing's on the page, there's no styles defined for my print styles. I'm going to close that tab up here because I don't need to access it that way. And I'll go back to split design. So first off, I want to add, say, a rule for my top nav, this div here with the background gradient, and I'll click plus for my top nav, and I'll click OK. And simply I go to the block category and I say display none. I click apply, I'm not going to see anything yet. I'll click OK. I must go over to the printer preview and see that that top nav has disappeared, and I'm able to click between the two to see that there is a difference between the two style sheets. Okay, now if I want, I could make the footer disappear, make the main nav disappear, my sidebars disappear. Okay, and an easy way to do that is I'm going to go over to my code itself, and I'm just going to put in a comma and then # main nav. And I need to type it in the same way I typed it in on the HTML page. Comma space, # sidebar 1, comma space, # sidebar 2, comma space, # footer. So essentially these are this is just a group selector, and all that I'm doing is grouping those IDs together. So instead of rewriting the rule over and over again, I'm just going to put it in once. So I'll go back to source code and split, and you'll see that those items are now gone. Okay, so if I go back to the browser view, you'll see that they appear. Printer view, they disappear. Okay, now the heading, I want to get rid of the background that's already there. So I'll put my cursor in, click plus, and I just want the header, not the logo header. And I want to make sure that this rule is going to go on my print styles. I'll click OK. Background, and I say none. If you leave it blank, it's just going to use the same rule that's on the default styles. So you actually have to specifically say none, and that will get rid of the background. Then there's a background color on my default styles. So I'm just going to change this background color to gray. Then I go to the box category, and height, maybe I'll say something like 35, so that I'm still preserving their ink. And I'll click OK. This logo is part of the logo header, so I'll put my cursor in there and I'll click plus, and I want to make a rule for the logo header. That's a image replacement, replacing text, and it's in the background, so I'll say background image none. Interesting, it's not there. And then so probably have to fix something. And then for the block category, I'll say text indent 0 and apply. So I just have to take a quick look in the style sheet. I think we need to modify the selector. Just it has to match what I have on the other page, which is I need to make sure I have header and logo header. Okay. Now I can go to the source code and I make sure that I have text inside that area. There it is. And I can style that in any way, shape, or form, so I can change the font, change the size, change the color. But you can see now I can go back to the browser view, to the printer view. You can see that we can basically completely design a page for print. Okay, and a quick side note before I go, you could potentially have a different header, different footer that is display none on your default styles, and you can swap it out with your print style. So you could have two completely different divs designed different ways with different messages. So for instance, you might want to have an email address and phone number appear on the print style sheet. Okay, so basically you just create a style sheet, link to it, make sure media is set to print, and you can do pretty much whatever you want on the print style sheet and design for the printer.